Hey, my sisters and brothers out there in this wonderful world, my sisters and brothers of all colors and religion. I'm here to say happy Valentine's Day. um, I know I wasn't supposed to post until Monday, which I am still going to post Monday, but since today is Valentine's Day, I just wanted to give God a shout out and a praise and let him know how much I am thankful that he is the love of my life and the head of my life. And I just wanted to give y'all a little feedback of when I first met God. Whew, it's a amazing story, but it has a lot of hard times, and in order for you to get through life, you got to go through them hard times. And the best part of that is after you get through the darkness and you get to the light, that's you can find your destiny, what is your purpose. Um, like my last video, I was telling you all, it took a long time for me to reach to, you know, my destiny. And I just wanted to glorify his love today on Valentine's Day because, you know, it's a made up holiday, but I know that love is what it's supposed to be about, for the women, supposed to be, Valentine's Day, supposed to, get your man or your woman something and, just thank them for all the things they have done for you and being there and, supposed to be a good, happy day, with your partner or your husband or fiance. But, I I'm putting God first, and I want to just let you all know when He came into my life. Um, I want to say that it started way back when I was like 9 or 10. I was um I was in a foster home. It was me and my brother, and we was young. Mother, dad was on drugs, and it was really hard times at that age. I didn't know what to do, as a young girl, you know, searching for love, missing my parents, missing my family. It was a real hard, trying time for me. And I remember it was an older lady. It was her and her husband, and she had two other foster girls there. But my brother didn't go with me to this home. At the time, they had to put us in separate homes. So, to make a long story short, I was there with the two other girls. They were sisters. The two other girls were sisters, and this young lady, this foster mother, she always went to church. Always went to church. And I just used to remember being in the church and just didn't know at that time because I didn't know, about religion. I didn't even know if it was a God. Um, I know that every time she used to take me and she used to tell me about God, and we used to read the Bible. And at the time that my foster father, he was in a hospital and he was sick or whatever, and I I had made a card for him because he was supposed to come back home because they had it where he had a hospital bed there, and he was always a nice. My foster parents then was very nice, and I just thank God for them because if I knew who they are or where they at, I would love to just tell them how thankful I am of them. I know, so a couple of years back I prayed on it, and God sent to me a dream of me expressing to her how thankful I was of her and her husband, her family, bringing me in at the time. And I think at that dream, um, I don't know if that was saying she was still here, alive, or she had passed on. I know her goodness definitely took her to heaven because she was a sweet person. Um, she also had a son. She had a son too. Her son, he was in gangs. He was a real gang bang. Like I remember, I was so young, and he had just got out of jail, and he was nice. He was nice to all of us, but we also knew, my foster sister would tell me, well, don't mess with him because, honey, he be in his own little lane, But um, I remember it was a time where I had woke up and it was just a lot of polices and lounge people in the house. And come to find out, no, what the police tell me is, and I'm at this time I'm 9 years old. The police say, "Oh wow, oh God must was all over you because it's bullet holes all around this room." And when he said that, I was like, "Huh?" But not knowing that whatever uh, whatever happened, I guess they affiliated whatever gang he was in, however, shot up his mother house. And I want to say, not at all, but they still, the foster people, the county, still had me there, even though I don't. But then I don't know if she reported it. I don't know if she reported that to the county. I don't know, but or the social worker. And because I was still there for a while, I didn't come out of there until I believe I started acting up. I started being rebellious. Like, I was getting older, and I just didn't want to be there. And that was another thing I wanted to let her know. Even though, you know, I didn't want to be there. It wasn't nothing that she did. It was just I was missing my family, and I was like, I'm just tired of being there. I wanted to be with my family, and I guess she just told the social worker, like, she don't want to be here. So that's why I had left. It wasn't because of um, everything had the people had shot up the house, but that just let you know God be watching over you. When you a child of God and you anointed, he gonna take care of you no matter what. He gonna take care of his kids, honey. Ain't nothing, ain't nothing. I don't care who you is. The demons, devils, evil people who don't like you, that wish bad on you, they can't touch you when you got the blood of Jesus over you. And at that time, I'm young, I didn't really know, but all I knew was she used to take me to church all the time. I started believing in God is when this one day I had I wrote out a letter. I wrote out a letter to God. And my bunk bed was, it was a twin size bed. It was by the window. And I say, I'm going to write God a letter to let him know that, I want to go back home to my family. I want to see my mother, my brothers, my grandmother. I want to go to my family. And and I was like, I don't know if he real or not. I was like, I don't know if you're real or not, God, but if you are real, you will reply back. So, I woke up that morning, the letter was still there. So I was just like, oh God, he didn't see this. He didn't see it right. So, and I didn't even never tell the foster mother or nobody. But this is how God, oh, the beauty of it. He seen it. It was just how, that's why the lady just out of the blue and was like, you leaving here. So he answered my prayer without him taking the letter. It was spiritually in your mind. You got to have control of your mind. That's very important, because what they say, a terrible mind is a hard thing to waste. You don't want to lose your mind. You wake up in the morning, you say, God, thank you for keeping me in my right mind, feet on solid ground, and giving me the wisdom to go in the right direction. But after that, I had left. I had went into another foster home. It was two other foster homes after that, and then the last one, and it wasn't a long period of time, before I got reunited back with my family. After I got back after this last foster home or whatever, the lady, she was just like, "Oh, your grandmother," because the social worker kept saying, "Well, your grandmother, she's not gonna be able to take you in, she can't take you and your brother in. She can't do it." But my grandmother, she always took care of all her grandkids. All of them. And so I can just imagine, like, but it was ordained. It was ordained. God had answered my prayer. And, because when the social worker had told me and my brother, we was at McDonald's. Them social workers used to love to take you to McDonald's to tell you, hey, they don't want you. And then you get your heart just broken and you just confused. You don't understand. I never had no resentment from my mother or father because they was on drugs. I knew it was a sickness. My brothers did, but I knew it was a sickness. And I just used to pray so many nights. Nights and days in the bathroom, wherever I was at, even if I was with, my boyfriend or, at my friend's house or wherever I was at, I used to just always pray for my mother because, she used to have me just worry about her being in them streets. And, but God kept her. God kept her. Like I said, it takes a minute for you to realize what your gift is and who you are. So at this time, I'm 9 or 10. I'm going to foster home. But the joy of that first foster home was that the young lady, she brought to me God. Now I realized it was God. And when I wrote that letter, I knew even though he didn't take that letter as a young kid, I knew that he was manifesting throughout the time, And after that, we went to our grandmother's house, and it was just happy times. I'm with my family, my cousins. I was able to see my mother, my father. It was just, when I was united with my brothers, it was just gorgeous. Then, and then an angel came to me. I was at my grandmother's house, and at this time I was 11 or 12, and it's I can't even explain it to you all. I had a guardian angel. She came to me um, within my mind. It was in my mind, and at first I didn't know if she was for real or not. But I would ask her something. Somebody would ask something, and I would ask her in my mind, and she will answer them, and it'd be right. Whatever it was that they wanted to ask her to see if she was real, she will, say it. Now she told me this, you know, I'm I'm 11 or 12 years old. I'm still like, I'm like, okay, I know it's a God, because God got me out of here. God got me out of them foster homes. He got me united with my family. So he answered my prayers. So I know it's a God. But I remember in that letter, not only did I ask for God to send me back with my family, I also asked him to send me a guardian angel. That was another thing I put in there. And I was asking him to see I wanted to know if he was real or not, if he took the letter or not. So as a little child, I wanted comfort. I wanted somebody with me because I was missing my family, you know. And now that I'm older, it comes to me now more. I see it more vividly of why I was asking the things that I was asking. But God, if you pray to him, he will answer your prayers. That's why you also got to be careful of what you pray for. Um, but I wanted our guardian angel to, comfort me, because at the same time, even though I was with my grandmother, I still wasn't with my mother. And I was mourning that that comfort of a mother. A mother's love is just, I mean, my mother is my best friend. She was my best friend. And I know why I prayed for her and wanted her to, overcome them demons that she was going through at the time. And so the guardian angel then, she told me her whole life. She told me, what happened to her. She told me that she will only be in my life until I turn 18. She said once you turn 18, she was like, I will always be there, but you won't hear me no more. And she explained why. And she also told me God is the one who sent her to me. And I went to job court. So when I went to job court, right after that, she was still in my life. Even when I used to, have little boyfriends or whatever, I used to ask her questions about them, and she would tell me the truth, whether the boy was for me or if he wasn't for me. And it turned out that he'd be not for me. She just tell me just all type of things. And but then she also was telling me too, like, every year that you get older, it's gonna get hard in your life. She told me that, because I was always a person that believed in family. I love family, structured family. And she was like, you gonna always, as you get older, you're gonna go into hardship. And I was like, oh, I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't know what that meant. And then it was this one time my brother, one of his friends, because I was still trying to see if she was for real or not. But I know I was at the part when we was at the job court. But before I had went to job court, another way how I knew she was real, it was um, it was a time where my brother friend, he had got shot, And everybody was in the house, worried about him, whatever, trying to find out what was his condition and everything. And she told me like, oh, he's gonna be all right. He's all right, you know. And come to find out, he was all right. And so then I went to job court, did the same thing. My roommates, they were, asking her questions and um, about their families and everything, and they couldn't believe, like, wow, I can't believe that this young lady is telling me this, and this is true. And you be telling somebody you got a guardian angel, they looking at you. Some of them believe you, and some of them don't. But that's just like Joseph in the Bible. When he was, telling everybody, telling his brothers and them about, his gift, and his dreams, they threw him in the pit. They was jealous and mad. And I always kind of remember that story. As I got older and I read the Bible, once I got out of job court, I started working at hospice. Now, when I started working at hospice, oh, I used to see so much. Like, my spirit was feeling so many spirits in there. I mean, a lot. I mean, to the point where I was having dreams left and right about people who was leaving. This one lady, before I even can get to work, I had a dream that she was telling me like, "Girl, I'm about to go pack up my clothes." And I was packing up her clothes, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm about to go home." And I'm like, "Oh, you about to go home? I'm so happy for you." And she was a young lady. And at this time, I'm young myself. I'm still trying to. I'm like, okay, I get these dreams, but I don't know what these dreams is about. I don't know what they mean. Uh, my guardian angel, she left me at 18, so she wasn't around no more. I couldn't hear her no more. And at that time, that's when I started working at hospice around that age. And um, I had, and I had went to work that day, and they said she had passed away. I was like, wow. I was like, I had a dream that she was telling me she was about to go home, and I was packing her clothes, and me and her with her clothes up. And when I felt that, and I was like, wow, God is showing me something. But then they say, like, my guardian angel, she was like, every year is gonna get hard, but then now that I'm older and I done read the Bible and I done, listen to different pastors, that's leading up to you to find out what is your purpose. I mean, they say to find out what purpose and your destiny, you're going to go through hardship. You're going to go through pain. And, you're going to go into situations that's uncomfortable. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be scared to, do something that you feel like is your calling to do, but you still be trying to figure it all out if that's what God is showing you. Then I'm at fast forward from job court. I mean, hospice. I in between the time that I was working in hospice, that's where I found Jesus. Now I already knew it was God, because God already had took me from the foster home, brought me with my family. He also gave me a gift with a guardian angel till I was 18. Then, I knew it was God. Now I didn't know Jesus. I didn't know Jesus. So I was reading the Bible. It used to be a chapel. It used to be a chapel there, and it was, they give you them little Bibles, little New Testament Bibles, And I used to always read it, every time I got a chance to, when even I was at work on my break or at home. And how I found out that Jesus is real is when you read when he got crucified, when you read up to the story, when and I was thinking, like, I know Jesus is black. He black because if you just read that story, and then he couldn't understand, like, you know I gotta go through this, but that was the grace and the beauty of it all, the blood of his love, of him saving the world. He saved us. And I remember reading it and I just started crying. And I was just like, wow. And and then after that, I had found out, like, um I've been having these intense dreams. Like, I was having dreams like you wouldn't believe. Like, I had a dream about I was with my fiance for 10 years. I had a dream that he passed away. Um, and then I had a dream that after that about my mother. Didn't know my mother was sick, but didn't know, like, I used to pray, like, is it something that I can do? But did not know how sickly she was. I didn't know that, you know, she was only gonna live, 5 months after we found out what it was that she had. And at that time we didn't even know. And I just remember him, sending me a tense dream. And but the dream was me. It was me leaving the world. It was me in a dream leaving the world. And but all along it was my mother. And then I done had dreams where I had dreams about my family. I got a lot of cousins, and I had a dream about a couple of my cousins and my brother. And I go to church, and at the church that I belonged to at the time, they didn't have a pastor. They only had, people, coming in, visiting, and, pastoring for certain Sundays. And this young man, he didn't know nobody. He didn't know me. He didn't know people in the church. So when he was preaching, he said names that was in the people who I dreamed about. He mentioned their names in the sermon. So y'all know, I felt like, oh my goodness, it was like I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that God is revealing this to me. So then, after the church was over, I go to him and I say, them names that you mentioned, did do you know them? Do you know them people? Like, so he say, no, God just put it in me, when I was doing my they write it out, when before they go out to sermons, and they study it. And he was like, yeah, this is what God has put on my heart for me to say to these names. And you know what? I almost passed out. So, I was thinking in my head, I said, God is telling me something in my dream. And then the pastor this preached, and the message was really scary, y'all. I'm talking about, it was real scary. but it was basically saying, telling them to get themselves together, get their life together. So I was feeling conflicted because I was like, okay, I'm telling, you know, my mother and them, like, I said, I had a dream and I went to church and he said this about such and such in the family. And I said, how am I going to tell them? How am I going to tell them what the pastor just said? Because it was basically it wasn't good. It was basically calling them out of things that they was doing in their life that they need to stop. And I was like, God, please help me to, go to them and tell them this. So everyone that he mentioned like 4 family members, 4 of them. And I could not believe it was either 4 or 5, but I want to say 4. So just imagine how the power of God is. Oh, his power. This man didn't know none of them people that he had named. God, that man was anointed. That pastor was anointed. God put it in him to speak it in that church, and it was meant for me. And it's me and my a girl cousin that go to the same church. So I was like, oh my God. So I delivered the message. I delivered the message to all 4 of them. But I want to say it was 4. It could have been 5, but them a lot of names, even if it's 4. I'm like, whoo, whoo. And I got to tell them exactly what that pastor said. And you know what? They all listen. But you know how family is and friends. And then, people look at you at your gift and they be like, and at this time, I didn't even know I have a gift. I knew I had something. I knew I was having these intense dreams. I knew I had a guardian angel when I was young. I knew that God was sending me messages through my dreams, but I didn't know how to interpret it. I didn't know what they meant or how to deliver it. And after that, it was just that same church. I ended up getting baptized and everything there. And the deacon, it was a deacon. And this was right after my mother passed away. I want to say it was right after my mother passed away, or when she was in the hospital before she passed away. I'm not sure, but I was I was down. I'm talking about I didn't want to do nothing. I was just conflicted with my family, my friends. I just felt like I don't understand how God is taking me through this. I didn't understand. And then that's when a deacon, he came to me and he said, it was me and I want to say 4 other ladies, or it was 3 other ladies. And he told me, God told me to tell all of you all that y'all are messengers. I say, so I'm thinking, so he told me in a dream that y'all are sent out to be messengers. And it is something for y'all to do. He was telling me, try to do, it was, I don't know exactly what he didn't even tell us it was what to do. He just said, God told me that the 4 of you ladies are messengers. And at this time of your life, whatever it is, when God is speaking to y'all need to do it. That's all he was saying. Basically, if God sent you something, you need to do it and pay close attention to it. Now, this was way after that one pastor was talking about my other family. This was I want to say, yeah, some about 4, 5 years ago. This happened when he said that, and at that time I still didn't know, y'all. God had sent me again. Well, during the time, yes, it was when he told me that I was a messenger. That was during the time when I had that dream about my mother, about my mother, and at that time I still didn't know. I still didn't know. I didn't know what even a messenger meant. I really didn't even know what it was. I didn't. I just. I just learned what it really is. But I'm just here to tell you all, share with y'all my little story. Um, it's just amazing how good God is. His love is merciful, loving, and caring. Oh man, I will be forever indebted of His love. All He have done for me, I'll be forever indebted. Um, so I dedicate, Valentine's Day to my only and one and only love, and that's His love, His grace, and His beauty that He shine on me every day. And I'm still a work in progress. I'm still learning. I'm still learning in my journey. Um, I just feel like at this point, I was listening to TD Jakes, and TD Jakes is very anointed. Oh man, one of these days I'm gonna go visit him at his church, at the Potter House. He is very anointing. It's like the things that he say, it, y'all, it's just the greatest feeling ever. It's very intense. It's very intense, and that's how you know that God is in your life, because I mean it would tug on your spirit. I mean, where you can't let it go, is this there, and that's the grace and the beauty of it. That, oh, serenity. Oh wow, I don't know, that just came in my mind. Um, but I love you all, and I pray that God, protect you all and guide you through the light. For the ones that's lost of your light, I pray that God find you all. I pray that you see His light. And I love you all, my brothers and sisters. Just keep the faith. Sometimes things may be hard, and you may not understand why it's happening, but you gotta build a relationship with God. I think that's why my faith is as strong as it is. I mean, He been in my life every before I was born, before I even came out the womb. I didn't even know it. And you gonna go through, hardships. You gonna go through pain. You gonna go through bad relationships. You gonna go through sorrow. You gonna go through, confusion. You gonna go through it. That's why you just, you know, ask God to surround you around good people. People who love you, who have God in their life, who love Jesus. Um, People that, who's nobody's perfect. It's a lot of broken people in this world, including me. And we are searching, and it's hard, you know, for you to see what it is that God got in store for you, but you got to be patient. You got to be patient, and everything that you don't know, you just look it up, search it. Information is the key. You know, information is the key. And I love y'all again, and I will be here again Monday, and come up with another. I just be coming up with different things to talk about. Um, so I'm gonna have something for y'all good Monday, and I want y'all to have a wonderful, happy Valentine's Day. I'm out.